Welcome to our Rolemaster actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order and Ain't No Place for a Hero are two campaigns currently co-joined, set in the world of Duranarki, the continent of men. In this gritty, cutthroat world, politics, religion, and commerce are all intertwined and reign supreme. Characters need to be both smart and ruthless to survive. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 132 of Twilight of the Old Order, and episode 109 of Ain't No Place for a Hero. Several days ago, the two parties had reconvened, and now find themselves, hopefully, in the throes of ending their perilous mission on the now loathed, forsaken, decaying, and long-forgotten island. We rejoin our heroes on board one of the three ships that had anchored in the bay, in deep discussion with a bearded, jovial man about their forward plans. Hello, I'm Chris, otherwise known as GM Chance, and as the words on the screen say, welcome to our story. Or as I now quite repetitively say, welcome to our stories. We have two games, two campaigns which are interwoven. One is called Twilight of the Old Order, and the second is called Ain't No Place for a Hero. There are the characters up on screen, 12 of them. In 2 seconds, I'm going to hand over to the players of those characters to introduce each one of their each one of the faces up on screen, a little bit about them, a little bit of who they are, what they do, and then a bit later on, the players will answer a character development question. Just very quickly before I do, just my usual comment. Thank you very much indeed to the kind comments, feedback, thumbs up, thoughts, suggestions, encouragement that we get from our viewers and our listeners, the people that follow us online. As I regularly say, this is something we do for fun. We get together on a Wednesday, although we are playing on a Sunday today. We usually play on a Wednesday. We are playing on a Sunday today to explore an imaginary world together, to have a group hallucination, whatever you want to call it. This is something that we do for fun. We record these sessions and put them on the internet, both for our enjoyment but also for other people's. And it's fantastic that people all around the world are enjoying our game. So thank you very much indeed. Just very quickly, if perhaps you've watched a couple of these and you're enjoying them, or maybe you've come along these for the first time and you like what you're hearing and seeing, would really appreciate either a like or a subscribe down below. A couple of seconds from you, clicking a button down below on YouTube really does help the channel grow. Thanks very much indeed. Right, as mentioned, time for the players to introduce their characters, and as per usual, we're going to start off with today, with Pete. Take it away, Pete.
Hi, I'm Pete, and in this episode I'll be playing Leif. Leif is a half-elf warrior mage, which means he uses weapons as well as magic. He's a friendly fellow, very empathetic, and a really kind member of the party.
Kia ora, I'm Mason, and for this episode I'm playing Demos. He's a very attractive, very hunky, very buff mixed man. Really great with his spear and shield, and he can whip out some swords if he needs to. He's not the most intelligent person, but he makes up for it with a lot of kindness, a lot of gentleness, except for when he's fighting. And he's been with the party for a little while, has thoroughly enjoyed his time with them, is very much looking forward to saving the world. And on the side, he is looking and hoping to find his long lost sister that was kidnapped a long, long time ago.
Hi, I'm Graham. I play Nyathano Sherakir. She is a Magent, which is a mix of stealthy skills, fighting skills, and magic skills, mentalism, magic of the mind. She is a complex character, something of a religious fundamentalist who believes in assassination as a sacred endeavour. She keeps that well hidden, however. She is, however, a dab hand with a short sword and uses her magic and sneaky ability to good use in sneaking up on her adversaries.
Hi, my name's Giles, and for this episode I'm playing Tarquin. So Tarquin is a young, ridiculously good-looking half-elf. During his early life and adolescence, he's been well trained in the gentle arts of thievery, charming others using his remarkably good looks, and of course, violence. He is in his own way a religious man, and he's out looking for some understanding as to what's happened to his homelands.
Kia ora, I'm Alex, and for this episode I'm playing Karios. Karios is a young North woman. She's a weather mage, a pretty powerful weather mage with some very cool spells. She's quite sweet and kind, a bit emotionally labile, but wears a heart on her sleeve and a strong moral compass. She also has a companion, a cat called Victory, who's a very important member of the party, and Victory was rescued, oh there's Victory, a wee while ago from impending doom.
Hello, I'm Graham. I play Etienne Gilderflower. He is a genitrist, which is a type of paladin or holy warrior. He follows the teachings of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and he believes that her will leads him on, and he makes decisions based on the dreams he receives or thinks he receives from his goddess. He has joined the party on the mission to, as he understands it, to save the old order, the world as they know it. He is a very charming, very good-looking man, a very eccentric man. Speaks in riddles and rhymes most of the time, but he believes in a higher purpose. He's a very dab hand with a sword, usually found in full plate.
Kia ora, I'm Pete, and I'll be playing Mithan in this episode. Mithan is a ranger. She's a high man. She's pretty good at outdoor skills, and she's a pretty good archer. She's not a people person. She doesn't really care about people's feelings, although she's beginning to in this party.
Hi, I'm Aidan, and I'm playing Gray. Gray is a very handsome half-elf who doesn't really believe in wearing shirts. He's constantly just displaying his body all the time, which, you know, he's got it, so he's flaunting it. He's got a bit of a tragic backstory. Pretty much everyone he's ever really cared about has been murdered brutally, but despite that, he's still a lovely guy. He's very caring, cares a lot about his teammates and also animals, loves animals, as he is a beastmaster, so he has the power to kind of, I don't know, not control, well, he can control animals, but he can also kind of interact with them and understand them and get them to help him do what he needs to do. And when he's not using his magic, he is a bit of a dab hand with an axe. He is very good at chopping things, chopping enemies, and also good with a little bit of stabby and a crossbow as well. He has a bird called Wingy that is his best friend that needs to have a bit more of a story, I guess. She'll come into it a bit more like down the road, I think. Yeah, that's great.
Hello, I'm Graham, and I play Severin Kaidegard, who is a human swordsman. A dab hand at the sword, spent his whole life training in swordsmanship. He is a very charming fellow and fancies himself as a bit of a leader.
Hi, I'm Stara. I play Jada. She's a 6'7" Arab-looking woman. She fights with a quarterstaff. but not often because she's a healer. She grew up in a monastery where they adopted her, and she has just been taught how to heal, do martial arts. That's all she's done her entire life.
Hello, I'm Graham, and I'm playing Tanya Anastasia, who is an elven hunter. Dab hand with a bow. She has some outdoor skills, some very adept sneaky skills, and is an interesting personality, a little bit spiky, a little bit difficult to know, but inside, a good egg.
Kia ora everyone, my name's Anthony, and for this episode I'm playing Ascallion, or Ascal for short. He's a tall half-elf warrior mage who comes from the port city of Shabibi, and accordingly his favourite weapon is his ornate cutlass. As a warrior mage, Ascal combines his offensive and defensive spells along with his prowess with his cutlass and in unarmed combat.
Kia ora, my name's Pete, and I'll be playing Nicholas in this episode. Nicholas is a common man and a mentat by profession. That means he is a spell user, and he uses spells from the mentalism realm. Nicholas is a quiet and sort of unassuming sort of fellow. He doesn't like to draw attention to himself.
There we go. So that's a quick précis, a quick overview of the characters up on the screen. Well introduced by everybody. As mentioned, at the beginning of a week or at the beginning of each session, I send out some questions to the players to answer in game, to mull over and think about an aspect of the character that perhaps they haven't thought of before. It's good, hopefully, for the players because it helps them think a little bit more about the character and understand the character a bit better. And certainly, I enjoy it as a GM. I always learn something from these sessions. So, with no further ado, we're going to hand over to the players to indeed do so. And we're starting off today with Mason, and just a very hearty welcome back, Mason. It's been a wee while since we had you join the game, and we're delighted to have you back, rolling dice in anger. Take it away, please.
Yay, thanks, Chris. It's nice to be back. I've missed this. So for Demos, his question is, if your character had the chance to rewrite their backstory, would they keep it the same, or are there elements they would alter? There's probably one small, not small, it was quite a pivotal moment in his life, but when his sister got kidnapped and he saved the princess, if he could, he would make sure that he could also save his sister in the hopes that they'd both end up being taken to go and live with the princess. Yeah, that's what he'd want. He'd want his sister around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Who would you like to hear from now, please?
I'll pass over to Pete.
Cool. Thanks, Mason. And yeah, it's great to have you back. So for Leif, he'll answer the same. I'd like to answer the same question. If your character had the chance to rewrite their backstory, would they keep it the same, or are there elements they would alter? No, he would do this exactly the same again. Absolutely. Yeah, he's had an amazing life so far, and he's quite a deep person. For Mithan, the question for her would be, how does your character handle disagreements or conflicts within the party? Are they diplomatic, confrontational, or passive? She would be confrontational. She's an intelligent woman. Whilst she doesn't read emotions particularly well, she is very aware of. She's very aware of group dynamics and would consider group dynamics and not perhaps wanting to offend the people in her party. So she would be confrontational, but with she would pick her moment, pick her words a bit more carefully than she would used to, because she does respect and like these people. For Nicholas, if your character had the chance to rewrite their backstory, would they keep it the same, or are there elements they would alter? He is very happy with who he is. He wouldn't change anything about who he is, but he sort of wishes that if he could, he would like to have grown up in a bigger city. He's a city sort of person. He would prefer to have the resources and have the cosmopolitan sort of outlook on life from coming from a big city rather than the rather small town he comes from. Can I please pass over to Stara?
Sure. I'm going to answer the question about disagreements and conflicts for Jada. She would She would handle them probably passively because she's very quiet. She's thinking and not saying much. Probably by the time she has thought of something, everyone's resolved the problem. So she may try to look for like a win-win situation. If she's really pushed into picking a side, that's what she'd go for. If she ever ends up doing something she didn't really want to do, she tends to just go, oh, well, God's on my side ultimately, so it doesn't matter in the long run. Or, people will get punished if they don't believe, so never mind what they chose to do, God will sort that out later. That's how she thinks.
Excellent.
Can I hand
God will
over...
deal with it. God will sort it.
Yeah. It's handy, isn't it?
Nice.
Can I hand over to Giles?
Thank you. I guess the question for Tarquin is describe a situation when your character had to confront a figure from their past. And how did this impact him? Well, in joining this party, Tarquin ran across Etienne, who he'd met many years ago. And having spent his entire life up to leaving his community, living in a large, small and busy environment, I think he probably was feeling a little lonely out on his own, and so, possibly to his own surprise, felt a little relieved and a little happy to see somebody he knew, somebody he got along with, and albeit very different from him, somebody who'd been very kind and generous towards him. So I think that's kind of an unusual feeling for Tarquin to feel, and kind of his thinking about exactly what path his life is taking.
Nice.
And I'm going to pass it over, I think, Graham. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, that's an interesting one, actually. Etienne can answer that same question. He's obviously very pleased to see Tarquin, and is extremely friendly and his usual sort of jovial self. The only thing I'd say, he's a little bit confused by some of the associations because he feels like he's become someone else in the interim years as he's kind of become a holy warrior. So he doesn't relate to himself in his own past. So he's slightly confused at some of Tarquin's associations because it sounds like Tarquin is talking about somebody else, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, he's all about the yarn and sharing time and stories with people. So he's very happy to see Tarquin. He's just a bit. He's a bit confused by some of the associations. He kind of just wants to tell Tarquin, but I'm really pleased you hear. But that wasn't me. I'm Etienne now, if that makes sense. On the question of changing backstories, Severin would have liked very much to have spent more time with his mother rather than staying in a village working at the forge, and he desperately wanted as a child to go with his mother even as a kid, and he would if he had his time again he would have wanted that and to learn more from her than he has. Same question for Tenya. I mean, she's changed everything. Her whole family has fallen from grace. Her father is dead. The rest of her family are been thrown out of the society in which they thrived in. Her family name has been besmirched, so she would rewrite the whole lot and probably would not find herself here, but find herself back in her home city in and amongst her family. So yeah, complete rewrite. Niafanal, would she change her backstory? Yep, to a degree. She wishes she'd been a bit more suspicious of the group that she fell in with, and that she saw the purge that came sooner, and that therefore she would have been able to save her partner Clessel, who was murdered in Jebel by Marlon Wimburn with the Black Embrace. Her group was completely surprised by that move, thought they were dealing with allies, and they weren't, and she became victim of a kind of form of gang warfare, tit for tat killings, and so yeah, she didn't see it coming, and she should have seen it coming. If she was wiser, she perhaps would have got a scent of what was to come. And who's not been? Alex, have you been?
I will go for Ray. So I'll attempt to answer for Aiden. So the question of changing anything in the backstory, he's had a pretty troubled life. Death of his parents, murder of his parents, and then murder of the first wolf who looked after him, and then murder of his beast master. So not a very happy time. I think even though he's grown so much and he's found a group and he's doing amazing things, I think he absolutely would have preferred to be spending his days with his family in the travelling circus, doing his tricks and acrobatics and just living what a simple life. Although the hero story does suit him, and I think that experience to become a Beastmaster was incredible for him, but ultimately I think he wishes none of it happened.
Excellent. Thank you, and
Could be wrong.
Thank you very much for filling in for Aiden while he's away today. Very good. Gentle viewer, gentle listener, that's the team. That's who is in play for this session. Pete, as is now tradition, can we hand over to you, please, to do some narration about what happened last session. I'll try to keep up with some images on screen, perhaps, and then I might have a couple of points from myself, and then we'll get the game underway.
Sure thing, thank you. Yep, so last session saw our party divided at the beginning, but the main, well, the larger part of the group with who had been in the cave we'd all withdrawn up the beach after the fiery and bloody experience in the cave, where it just was not going well. They had far more uninjured fighters than we did, and we decided to remove ourselves and stop our attack. So we'd pulled back up the beach. The beginning of the last session, Severin had started talking with the remainder of the other group we'd been allied with, and he did a fantastic job of sort of talking them down from being particularly suspicious of us. So there was tension there. They were sort of watching what we were doing because we were preparing to jump into our longboat. And Severin did a fantastic job of sort of just putting them putting their minds at ease so that they weren't feeling too suspicious of us, which was a great relief. So we had a longboat there that we wanted to sort of get away in. We thought there was something odd happening at the top of the path. There was the bridge out anyway, we couldn't get out that way. But to the best of our knowledge. Then, fantastically, Tarquin connected with us, because we'd been out of touch with him, and Tarquin and Jada and Nicholas and Karios' body rejoined the group. Found out that there might have been more people at the top of the cliff, and so perhaps there were more people coming down, so we did want to get out as quickly as possible. So we all jumped in the boat and started rowing. We rowed sort of on our way out of the bay a little bit, but whilst that was happening, there had been 3 ships that had entered this bay, which was sort of alarming. We weren't quite sure who they were. But I believe the other party, so the people we'd been allied with, as we'd rowed out away from the shore, so we were thinking perhaps into a bit of safety, at least from any other assailants on the beach. The party, our allies on the beach, sent up green, I think it was, a green signal, we assume using the signalling rod that our parties had been given, and that signal was answered by one of the ships. I think that was the way around it went. Wasn't it they signalled first, Chris? Is that right?
No, the ship signalled first.
Oh, of course. Because they had sent up their green light that was summoning their ship, and their ship signalled saying, hey, we've arrived, basically, by sending up green lights from the ship. And that was answered by our allies on the beach. So that sort of gave us the clue, I guess, that these ships were from the Mon Men, from our employers, perhaps. So we frantically attuned our signalling rod and sent up a signal from our boat, and that was answered by one of the other boats, and they took us on board basically, and so much to our relief, I think, we've in relative safety back on board one of these boats with which is owned by our employers, the Monman, is who we're assuming it's. So out of danger really. We were ushered into a cabin and sort of need to, provided food and things, and we had a bit of a respite there. And then we met this jovial fellow called Jackin, and he was a lovely sort of fellow, slightly irritating, because one of the first things he explained to us is that he felt that our parties were quite a good distraction from the people who were actually doing the work, fighting the T-Costs. So it's very good of us really to have been so visible and been such a to allow all eyes to be on us, because we're so sort of clumsily doing what we were doing was the way it made me feel anyway. Good on us for giving it a go. Yeah, he reassured us that we were quite unimportant, and that in fact there were, of course, other parties taking care of the T-cost problem in a more professional way, so quietly and sort of unobtrusively. So he was quite clear to make that. He was quite made that quite clear to us. He let us know that we came in second. We had sent up our signal second. So in this trial, this test, that's where we came in, which meant that we had the reward of resources and transport, not money. Was the other group, the green group, would be rewarded with resources, transport, and money. The transport is access to the navigators, and the resources was access to a worldwide network of handlers and hosts, so people who can move you around and provide basic resources and basic sort of accommodation and sort of secretive, or at least unobtrusively move groups and provide information, I assume. So that was what he had offered us, and so that party is up to making a decision if we wanted to go. Sort of once they are finished on the island, we will need to decide where we wanted to head to continue our mission or missions. Also, he offered the group healing. That was all I've got for my notes. What did I miss?
Excellent, Pete. Thank you very much. Well done. Well remembered indeed. I've got a few more pointers, but before I comment on a couple of things, just for clarification, did anybody else have any questions? Nope. Okay. So Pete, thank you. That was excellent as per usual. Technically, there were 3 things on offer, as you said. There was less about resources and more contacts. So the transportation as well. So transportation, contacts, and money were the 3 things on offer. Your party have access to contacts and to transportation. Transportation doesn't just include the navigators, so it can absolutely be more mundane transport. So the hosts, as he termed them, the people that you that are assigned to look after you, they themselves may act as your guides, and typically those people that may act as your guides may be able to offer transport themselves, so they may be able to take you from point A to point B. Often these people are in professions which it would arouse suspicion if they travelling priests, merchants, tax collectors, sailors, tinkers, adventurers, fishermen, that kind of thing. So they themselves may offer transport and assist you as well. They could offer, your hosts, as he termed them, can offer very basic assistance. They can provide certainly somewhere to stay, so all of them offer us a safe place to be. Some of those places could be quite grandiose, but more common than not, they're quite humble. often on the outskirts of civilization, away from prying eyes, but not always. Your hosts, as well, as he explains, may have no idea who actually they work for. So once a month at a particular location, money is left for these hosts by one of the regional handlers of this network. And that often is all the local hosts know or care about knowing. They just like being paid. Sometimes these hosts will go months, sometimes years, without having to actually do anything. So for a lot of these people, it's quite a nice little earner for not having to do anything at all, other than supply a report once a month. Many of the hosts think that they might work for the local authorities, the local king or the local emperor or the local whatever, when in fact they work for other people. A couple of other things from this person who introduced himself as Jackin, or as he says, you can call me Jackin or Wilhelm or Frankus or Sally or really whatever you want, because none of them are my name. He went on to say that you need, once you tell your host of where you want to go, you need to wait a minimum of 7 days, sometimes as much as 10 days, for the arrangements for the next host to be ready and able to meet you. Part of the host's responsibilities are that they regularly check for messages with a minimum of 7 days up to sometimes 10 days to make sure that someone is not coming for their supervision. So you explain where you want to go, and you wait a minimum of 7 days, and typically some way over those 7 days that message has got to your next host who passes things on. The jolly gentleman on screen mentioned that treachery does happen, so be on your guard. But generally this is rare. So there are some occasions where your hosts are either treacherous themselves, they're playing both sides, or they're playing all kinds of games perhaps, and you might be handed in to God knows who. But it does tend to be quite rare because, hey, these hosts are often being paid for not doing very much sometimes. His recommendation to you was, if you arrive and your host isn't at the appointed place, don't stay around there for long. Get out of the situation as fast as possible. Get to the nearest navigator column. These stones of these ancient stones of black, almost black stone or black stony glass. You're not quite sure what they're made of. And summon a navigator. When that navigator arrives, show them this coin. And some of you have seen these coins before, and they're basically tokens for being able to travel on the navigator's networks. And he describes and shows you that if you insert a very, very tiny piece of metal right up here, you can change the blue and a little click inside the coin, twist this piece of metal. The blue here turns to red, and that is your token to show the navigator, along with a passphrase which he provides you, and I'll give to you later on. That's the passphrase that allows you for the navigators to look after you. One of the key things that really surprised all of your characters, was the fact that whoever this man's masters are have a special arrangement with the navigator guilds. You're surprised because in this world the navigators are all powerful. There are a group of 12 or so guilds that have broken up the world into 12 or so jurisdictions, and each one of those guilds have different rules of how they operate, but the prime rule is they escort their chargers, who they're supervised to transport, either by teleportation from one of these large navigator columns or stones to another, or potentially somewhere else, or through just normal guiding. So guiding a ship or guiding a caravan or whatever, the navigator's charge is to help get their clients from point A to point B. And the navigator guilds are meant to be completely and utterly uncorruptible. They don't care about politics, they don't care about religion, what they care about is money. And there are stories that go around about kings or emperors or people who have tried to force the navigators to do something, and that has always ended very, very badly for the people involved. To hear that there is an organisation that has some kind of arrangement with the navigators is gobsmacking. It's like the world has turned upside down for you. That is unheard of, completely unheard of. So your characters were very interested to hear that. Probably the last comment I'd make was that this individual said that these people will not ask for any money. They, as I said, they can provide basic services like accommodation, basic food, basic clothing, perhaps weapons, but no more. Their job is to get you from point A to point B as fast as possible, although that may take sometimes weeks or months depending on your needs. You're not to pay them. There is no money that needs to change hands, and if they ask for payment, you need to report it on to your next host. Just to go back to his initial comments was, yes, he appeared to be more than slightly dismissive of your role, and he indicated that, he asked you how Jewel Island was, and then he said, well, you shouldn't feel too badly because, you're probably, the B or the C or perhaps the D team. And he went on to say, perhaps somewhat patronizingly, you decide, quote, if you were my employers, in my employer's shoes, who would you choose to do this job? A couple more comments was, he said, ultimately, however, you didn't really have a choice because of the people that were hunting you, and, you kind of had to do what you had to do. And then lastly, he said, look, it's probably just all complete and utter nonsense anyway. Just as last time, it'll just be some kind of storm in a teacup. This thing about the Tikos ending the world and all that. There's probably a little bit of truth to it, but it's probably nonsense. And just like last time, it'll just be a waste of my time, your time, my master's time, etc. So, I wouldn't worry about it too much anyway. That was a very long interlude by myself, but any last questions before we start the game? Anything that wasn't clear from last time? Once, going twice. So just before I click the button, it's been about 2 hours since Karios died, or thereabouts, probably an hour and a half perhaps. You're on the ship. Karios' body is covered with a tarp. Askell is unconscious on the floor in this cabin, as is Neathanol. The gentleman on screen has said that he'll very happily provide healers for the low-level healers that they have to provide some basically first aid and assistance if he can. And he's also agreed to pick up both Demos's spear, or get the men to pick up Demos's spear, and also a couple of packs that were cast aside.
And the Flying Mage's positions.
Sure. If we're ready, let's start the game. So that is exactly where we begin. He's taken out a notebook and he's marked down on his notebook the request for healing and other things. Jadar, you're kind of trying to get to sleep in a corner. Anything else? Well, yeah. What do characters do? I'll just throw the floor open.
Can since we've just heard that riposte, can Severin answer? Well, unless if somebody else. I mean, it doesn't need to be right now, but Severin's quite keen on sort of just responding to his address there. But if anyone else wants to jump in before that, that's all good.
Leif would just want to pick up on that last time and want to question that, actually, and then let's, what did he mean by last time?
Okay. Anybody else say or do anything?
At some point, Tarquin's going to ask this chap if he can take up his offer of weapons and replenishes the arrows and dry stores food.
All right. Okay, and Jada, you're trying to get some sleep. You're not succeeding because the people are chatting and doing other things. Any other actions from anybody else?
Well, I think if Jade is having trouble sleeping, we should let her be and go somewhere else and have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we could find another room to continue our conversation, that would be good.
All right. So what do you say? Give me something to act on.
Hey, well, did we get all our packs? I remember you guys talking about it. Did we leave them up the top of the cliff? Or did we already get them?
We got Tarquin's one.
And the other one's coming.
What,
I think
I left mine up there?
Yes.
Never mind.
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay.
Yep.
So if you guys go back there, because I heard you talking about going back, can you guys grab mine as well?
I think she's still got hers. Or well, yeah. We'll put that request in too. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
I think Tarquin would hear this conversation about Jadar's need for sleep and probably would turn to our ranger, whose name temporarily slips my mind. What's her name? Help me out.
Mithan or Tanya?
Mithan.
Yeah.
And say to Mithan, I happen to have some huga in my pack. And if we could prepare some for Jada, 1 hour's sleep is the equivalent of 6. So if we can give her a little of this herb, she'll only need a quick nap before she'll be back at full health.
That's very useful. GM, would that mean that it would be minus 6 hours if she had 2 hours sleep to get her up a level and get her
So it induces sleep.
So reduce the stat deterioration. Nice job.
Yep. So it induces sleep. So it'll put her to sleep, and for every 1 hour sleep is equivalent to 6 hours sleep, is what it says.
So she needs 8 hours sleep to regain all her power points and to go up a
And
level.
she's had, 1 or 2 hours sleep already, so she'd get another hour's sleep and be good to go. I have to say, Chris, when I bought this, I didn't realise it needed preparing, which is why I'm turning to Mithan. I don't know, does it need preparing, or can Jada just gobble this stuff?
So
Right.
this is what
Fantastic.
this is what I love about players. They always surprise you. So that did not figure into my plans at all. So talk me through what does you Tarquin turn to Mithan and say that.
I would turn to Mithan and let Jada know too, and let her know I have 4 doses of Huga, and I'm happy for her to have one. And what this herb does is induce sleep, and 1 hour's sleep gives you the equivalent of 6 hours recovery.
Got it. So how do the characters respond, please?
Just based on Mithan and perhaps Jada's knowledge, would that herb mean that she will go up a level in 2 hours rather than 6, or rather than 8?
That's my understanding.
Excellent. Mithan would smile at Tarquin, which was
wow.
Miracles happen. I don't know if this needs preparing.
So
Ian.
I do. So suddenly our discussion of off camera is suddenly quite dramatically altered. Actually.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, not at all. But this is why I love this game, because it completely throws you curveballs. What is the description of the herb, please? What's its form? Do you have a description of it?
Unfortunately, all I did was make notes when I bought it and discussed it with you.
Okay.
If it helps you, it's AF33.
Okay. Okay, I'll find that. Just a second. So absolutely, that would have a massive impact on the situation at hand. What was it?
Tarquin would apologise for not bringing it up earlier.
No,
and being on bed and fearing asleep.
No, all good. What's it called, please? Huga.
Huga.
Physical alteration.
HUGAR.
It's root ingest, so she can just eat it, right?
That is incredibly handy. Yes.
Page 116 in character law.
Nice work, Pete.
Nice work, Tarquin. Nice work, Giles.
Huga. It's a root. You ingest it. Causes sleep and quick unconsciousness. 1 hour's sleep equals 6. That is massive.
And ingest means immediately usable and maybe eaten, chewed, drunk, or inhaled. Whatever is appropriate.
I've got 4 doses, so if she needs 2, she can just have 2. I don't know if she needs 1 or 2 to get back to full power points. She's already slept on the beach.
She has, so I said she'd slept 1 hour on the beach, and she's had an hour of disruption with the fight, and then coming out to the boat. So in my head, it's going to be 10 hours. She needs 8 hours, so she needs 7 more.
2 doses.
So she needs 7 more hours.
Well, 1 dose will only do 6, right? So
yes.
The reality is I can give her 1 dose and 1 hour's sleep is 7 hours, and 2 doses and 2 hours sleep is also 7 hours equivalency. She's back to full power points either way.
Correct.
So it would make sense to simply use 1 dose.
Correct.
And then 2 hours sleep will give her 7 hours sleep, and she'll be back to full power points. So I'll give her. I'm going to give it to Mithan to give to her, knowing that Jada's a little on the standoffish side.
Oh.
But I'll give her one of my winning smiles.
So appreciative of this. Now, if I take it, fall asleep, and then get woken up, is the effect gone or anything that we don't know? What's the story there? Just wondering if we should take 1 or 2 or save one for emergency.
Quick unconsciousness. You need 1 hour's sleep, which equals 6. So, and it causes unconsciousness. So, I would say you'd be hard to wake with the word unconsciousness in there.
Can we maybe Tarquin get off the bed, let Jada have the bed, give her something to use as earplugs. She can take the stuff and she's very likely to get 2 hours sleep if we go talk in a corner.
Okay.
Great, sounds good.
So the gentleman here, just while you're kind of making those preparations, looks up and says, "I'm sorry, is our conversation boring you, Jada?"
Not at all. Not at all. This is great. Very happy to have the help.
Oh, good, good.
Sovereign can be having that conversation rather than involving him in this. Sovereign can be having that other conversation at the same time. We can just play it differently, rather than,
Sure. I guess this does cause sleep and quicker consciousness. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, that is the absolute best type of herb to have because you just simply eat it. So, are you taking 1 dose or 2, Jada?
Guys, what do you think? Should I take 1 and we save 1 for emergency just in case something happens, or should I just go for the 2? Is there any problem taking 2?
The only problem is that it just halves the amount that I've got. So if you take 1, then 1 plus 1 hour's sleep should be enough.
Should be alright. Let's just take 1.
If you are asleep and we don't disturb you, you should be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Jada, you chow down on the herb, and let's just see if within a very short period of time, Jada snores, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but
I do not. Sinus problems.
Jada curls up in the corner and goes to sleep. So suddenly, all of those calculation, not all, so that would be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. That does change things potentially quite substantially, at least for Eros's brain.
Sorry, Chris, I'm just keeping you on your toes.
No worries, Giles. No worries. But that's what I love about this. That you think you've got something in your head and then left field. Okay, so successfully done. Jadar is snoring away in the corner. While that's going on, what else is happening?
So Severin would just like to continue the conversation with the chappie.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's anything else that needs to happen. I don't want to hold anything else up. It can all happen at the same time, obviously.
Free flow. Go for it.
So he's going to be really respectful,
Mm-hmm.
and he will charm,
Sure.
as he does.
Yeah, give me a roll.
26.
Plus. By the way, this will be your... I think you've tried to charm before, but if you haven't, this is kind of the charm for this situation.
65.
65, cool. It was higher than that, actually. Okay, cool. Cool, and what does he say?
So he's basically saying, it's interesting. We're obviously very grateful for the offer of transportation and assistance wherever possible, and of course we have never thought ourselves as any kind of crack A team of any sort. As I'm sure you're aware, this was very much fostered upon us, the situation that we find ourselves in, and we've doing this because we believe it's the right thing to do. We're not mercenaries. We're not in it for the cash.
Lovely! I love idealists.
Good. You'll like us then. And this is what we're about. This is what we're doing, and we've found the situation, and we're doing our very best.
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. So we get smashed down, we get up again with a pot, and I will get. I will actually seek written permission to use this, but you're never going to keep us down, etc. However, and obviously your masters are, I'm sure, are people of their word, and as we would expect, which is why we've come on this, and we do. Funny though, we do quite remember the instructions. We understood this was a test, and I think the instructions were quite clear in a sense that we were to find the stockpile of weapons, eradicate all that you find there, and then signal for our cargo ships to come and collect the shipment and extract you from the island. That's the mission we were on. And obviously, we haven't gone into it yet, but I can tell you that we have had 2 assaults on that cave, and we paid quite heavily. We had 1 assault, we went back for more, and we were well and truly walloped. Our intention was to heal up and go again. That's what we're about. In doing so, we allied ourselves with the party who let their flare off, and acted as a one team to try and get out. And as you see, they were pretty well decimated too, to a greater degree than us. So I guess I'm a little curious as to why, if this is a contest, why the first place goes to someone who called for help before the all those had been eradicated. In a sense, that's not what we were asked to do, and we didn't set our firework off because we hadn't done the job, and that's what we're about. Moreover, we were allied with the people who did let their firework off, And if it was simply a case of showing up on the island and making a nice red signal in the sky, we'd have done that several days ago. Not that it would have helped anyone. So I guess, yeah, a bit curious about that, and I would really wonder why, we wouldn't collect the prize for the team that actually got further than any others, in terms of taking down more enemy. I hadn't completed the mission by our own admission. We were intended to try and do so, but we took down more enemy. There's more of us still standing, and we allied ourselves with the group who pulled the plug earlier than we did. So yeah, just a bit curious there, because our instructions were very clear, and we listened to your masters very closely, and with good faith we have followed that.
Oh, good. Well, so this is an excellent and opportune time for you, please, to give me what I need, which is a debrief of what happened. So please, tell me, from the time that you landed on the shore of the islands to what happened now. I would be very curious to hear that. And lastly, and secondly, it's good that you're curious. It is good to have a curious mind. So please, yes, tell me. How did you, from woe to go? What happened? How was Jewel Island? Tell me. Talk it through with me.
So Severin's happy to tell the story. However, the confrontation in the forest, it was a confrontation that blew up. He won't say who fired the first shot. In fact, I don't think Severin would even know. But he said, that they clashed with a group of Roldenics who unjustifiably consider us to have committed some heinous crime, or some of our number to have committed a heinous crime, which they did not, and I would underline that, did not commit. Some religious fundamentalism going on there, but he would tell the story basically as it happened, explain that they were all the way through, that they were first to locate the enemy through picking up intel, were first to the scene, captured one of the TCOS members, extracted information, foiled their traps, got down the cliff, took out the people on the cliff, fought their way down to the cliff, fought their way up to the cave. It was very well defended, and then pretty much tell the tale as it is otherwise, which I think we come out quite well considering.
So at the description, does anybody else interject or add anything else in? Anything from Tarquin? Anything from Gray, he of the pert nipples? Anything from Demos? Jadar snoring?
Jadar snoring, and Tarquin's got nothing to add.
Okay. No one else? Okay. Well, he listens to Severin's tale, and then when you get to the describing the fight in the jungle path, his eyes initially just go rounder and rounder and rounder, and then he just bursts out laughing. That's fantastic! So you slaughtered them! That's why we haven't seen them. That's why I haven't seen the flare. Ah, there we go. Well, that clears up this mystery. So how many of them did you get? You do realise that they were trying to do the same thing as you, so you're effectively on the same side. But that's hilarious!
Well, it is hilarious, actually. I find it hilarious that your masters would actually send one group of people on the same mission as ourselves, knowing full well that those people would want to slaughter our party. That is hilarious. If indeed the master's aim was to clear the cave and of all the weapons, that is hilarious. So yes, that indeed, your master's plan presumably then did unfold as they wished, and of course those people did recognise some of our group as those who have falsely accused some heinous crime. And
the assassins of Pythor. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, not assassins of Pythor as it happens. People who turned up to give someone a spear, and their guru jumped off a tower for reasons unclear. But nonetheless, so yes, it did indeed unfold as the masters presumably wanted it to, and the fact that they recognised half our party and tried to kill us. So no, I don't know how many were killed in that rather regrettable incident, but we defended ourselves as best we could, and I don't know where the remainder are.
Good. Well, so yes, as offered, you have access to contacts, you have access to transportation. We obviously need to wait until the bloodshed and the horror and the mayhem is completed. They're in the process of clearing out the cave now, I'm sure, but that'll take some time. But once that's done, I'd imagine in a few hours we'll be ready to go. This ship is at your disposal. My task is to inform the captain of the ship of where you want to be dropped. I have authority to send the ship anywhere inside the Sea of Katana. And then from there, we can probably find the closest safe house to that location, or we can help get you established in a particular location. And probably in about 7 to 10 days, we'll be able to contact somebody from the network to then assist you to travel on to anywhere else you want to go from there. But at least initially, today, we can sail you... I'm permitted to sail you anywhere within the Sea of Katana.
That's most gracious of you. I guess my question is, we are going to be undertaking this mission. As you well know, we're going to continue on this path as best we can.
Good. Excellent.
And
you're idealists, after all.
Quite. And however, we're not in this, as you probably will have realised, we're not really in this A, for fame and glory or cash. However, we do need some finances to equip ourselves suitably for where we are intending to go. And I might add, we can even itemise this if you wish.
No need. But
No.
I'm sure you'll sell something. So, where do you wish to go?
Very curious response. Because we know that your masters have a bottomless vat of wealth here, and we are trying to do their bidding. And what I'm asking for is they would help us in that way with procuring some herbs that will help us actually fulfill and kill more of the enemy.
So for the first time that you've seen this man, you've been speaking for about 20-30 minutes, his brow darkens, and I assume it's Severin who's speaking.
Yeah, and he is remaining, civil and very polite, as he normally does. He's not,
Just to be clear, Severin, you've been offered contacts and you've been offered transport. Where do you wish to go?
Well, at which point he'll turn to the rest of the party and say, well, you heard the man. This is the game we play.
Nathan would just say, how disappointing.
Right.
Don't be disappointed, I thought you were optimists and idealists, he says, his good humour returning.
Nathan would ignore him. No. Yes. And Leif would say, time is of the essence for our recovery of our companion Karios. If we can remove from this island as soon as possible.
I thought you said she was dead.
So time is of the essence. So time is of the essence for our recovery of Karios. We need to be leaving as soon as possible. Please, could you pass that on to those who need to know? It'd be really, really good. Thank you.
I thought you said she was dead.
Yes, but for her recovery, we need to move as soon as possible.
Oh, I see. Well, certainly. Let's see how things go with the cave, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, you're most welcome.
And so, do we need to have our parties discuss our next steps now, sort of thing, as a group discussion? I think.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I mean, Leif would say, "Shall we discuss?" And I'm just saying, out of game,
Right. One thing I meant to add. He gave, by the way, not one, but 2 coins. One to Severin would be probably the most logical, and probably the second, I guess, to Leif. Yeah, to Leif.
Sure. I will make a note of it. And do we get the little pin thing, or they come red? They come, was it red or blue? Red.
Red.
They're
any small, you probably would need to just find a pin or a tiny little needle or something.
it down. Awesome. So should we have a discussion, like, we ask for some privacy, or we ask for,
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly. Now, I did. He's reading in his little notebook, and he double checks the location of Demos's spear, which was left outside the cave, and he double checks the location of the certainly Karios's pack and Jadar's pack at the top of the cliff. As mentioned, we have some. I don't know what you term them, like. Frontline healers. They're not particularly sophisticated, but they can certainly recover some of your life's essence, make you feel better at the very least. Shall I send for them now or in a little bit of time? What is your preference?
Nicholas would prefer now, please.
Certainly.
Yeah, a good suggestion for now, and perhaps we can contact him once we've had our discussion.
Yes, certainly. And at this, he says, "I'll give you as much time as you need. Would you like anything else to eat or drink?" Yes, I no doubt you're quite hungry. Can I get you anything else in the meantime?
Takwa might turn to Leith and say, "Do we want to see if they've got any clerics with level 2 spells? Is that what we need?"
Already,
I might turn and ask him that specific question. We'll get one of the people, Severin or Leith, someone who's speaking to him, to ask that specific question. So if you've got one, that might be kind of handy.
I don't know what a level is, says the man.
Nah. You got any clerics with healing spells on board? Because one of them would be handy too.
No, we don't have god magic on board, unfortunately. No.
We rolled for that last time, I think.
We did.
And assume that was the conversation we had. Do you have anyone who's got... Yeah. Yeah. It would have been a very convenient thing.
He looks again at everybody concerned. Something else to eat or drink? Anything else I can get you?
Leif had asked, before Severin did his questions, Leif had asked about the again question, when he indicated this sort of thing had happened before. Leif had asked him what he meant by that.
Oh, yes. Well, so I described how the network works, yes? We have one host who is separated from the wider network. They know their little bit and so on. Compartmentalized is probably a good way to describe things. And that is indeed how my masters like to work. So my remit today here is compartmentalized. I know what my task is, and I know what I can offer you and what I can't offer you. And I know a certain amount about my master's business, probably a little bit more than others, perhaps. So the fiends, the misguided fools of... Yeah, how would you best describe them? The fervent revolutionaries of the lands far to the south of Turang, which perhaps some of our northern friends have now realised is not so much of a bogey story as they thought when they were growing up. This nation has not been long in existence, 200 and something or other years. And from time to time, as this nation has grown, and it is huge by all accounts, of course I've never been myself, but as it's grown, there have been certain incidents over that period of time where they have, through their network, their spy network, their armed forces, by the name of Tikos, they have attempted to gain power or influence or find a way of gaining the upper hand against the way things should be. Our world, put it that way. And he kind of smiles winningly at everybody. And yeah, there have been cases where, they found some hidden secret and it was going to end the world, and and it just simply ended up to be a waste of time. Most recently that I can think of was dating back some, I don't know, 18 or 19 years ago, when there was this magic. They termed it the hive mind, and there was a great fear that the Tikos could discover the secrets of the hive mind, and it just ended up being, frankly, a lot of excitement about nothing. A bit like now, there were teams who were sent out to solve that particular problem, and it just ended up being a waste of time, frankly. Yeah, that's the most recent.
Interesting. Well done, the Monmen, for keeping power where they want it and not allowing nations to talk to each other.
I don't know what you're talking about, he says. Would you like some more wine?
We will remind him. I think Tarquin. Leif would just smile wincingly at him. Leif and I think it was Tarquin who was wanting to take him up on offer of extra weapons, and Leif would want to at some point as well, but perhaps after our discussion.
Certainly. Shall I leave you to some privacy? I'll go and see what I can do about getting some healing, some basic healing for you. I might be a little bit of time, he says, and he gets up and he heads out, and
Ray would ask to not forget something for Wingy and a saucer of milk for Victory, please, just while you're up. You might give him a little sniff and a snarl as well.
He nods and says, absolutely, we've got to make sure our animal friends are well taken care of, haven't we? Yes, I'll certainly fix those. And he heads out and closes the door behind him. And with that, the GM is going to get up and get something to drink, and I'll leave you guys to have a bit of a chat.
I believe the hive mind, that thing that he was referring to. So there were 4 spells discovered in these ancient ruins of the ancients.
Yeah.
There was one that was like a nuclear bomb. There was the 2, the devil dust that the Twilight Party are combating, and the Rite of Arza, which the Hero Party are combating. So those are 3 of them. The 4th one was the hive mind, which obviously the Mon Men had managed to destroy, which was a spell that would unite people's thoughts and would be able to make peace between nations. So, and the spell has been lost, was destroyed.
I think we should all just join Tikos. What do you reckon?
Oh, I reckon. I was thinking about that because, I mean, just in terms of principles, they're wanting to be communist and wanting to remove, or to have, for the rich to have less control. Yeah, agree with it and all that sort of stuff. Don't like the way they do it. Don't like that they're going to be destroying non-human races and removing magic. It's not their call to make. Is my character's take on why they are wrong. Why Mick and Nicholas are happy to combat them is because they're working towards the destruction of magic. Well, no, that's a decision that's not theirs to make.
Yeah, so we want a democratic communist system.
That has non-human races still alive and still have magic. Anyway.
Maybe there's some middle ground here.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Tikos are just not interested in other people's opinions, particularly apart from
Well, I don't think anybody is.
No. Anyway, options.
Well, I thought your recall of that information that and I couldn't remember what it was, so thank you for putting that in, seemed like a logical next step for
Twilight.
Twilight, right? Did anyone disagree?
That's you, Stara.
Oh. Oh, good.
Because Anthony and I here. So, basic. Shall I go a quick synopsis, Graham? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. So, we had heard from the lady the Twilight Party visited in Jebai-Ratana. So, what's her name? Jasia was our contact to the Monmen. So when the Twilight Party were in Jebai-Ratana, we talked to this woman, and she had... So, the Twilight Party basically... Our nemesis is a guy called Torvash Papillus, and he is the guy who's in the the Committee of the New Age, I think it's called. So that's the Tikos branch that he's associated with, and the spell that they got from the Lords of Arcana is called Devil Dust, and it's going to somehow smash armies. It's going to break their armor or something. So we are the Twilight Party are after that guy, basically wanting to stop him. That's essentially what we wanted to do. Last we heard it, we thought he was going to Tarak Nev, this sort of haunted city of the dead. When we went and visited Jasir, she said that no, she had information that he had come out of that city, so he'd gone and done what he needed to there, and he'd actually got a lead to more information about this stuff called Devil Dust. So he doesn't have the formula quite yet, he's still researching it to put this weapon together. And that he had a lead in a place called Ras Garrett. So he was going to go to the ruins of an ancient alchemy, Lords of Arcana alchemy place, where he where he was hoping to find this information. So this is in a different part of the world, and it seems to us that that's the Twilight Party's next step, is to go there and see if we can stop him, kill him, get the information first, somehow disrupt his plans.
And I think we need to know as much as the Mon Men and this chappie knows about that, or we don't need to tell him what we know, but in terms of where we need to sort of grill them about where they think his current proximity is, who's with him, like what kind of resources does he have, are we up against, and I still think we push this thing like, the
money.
For what we need some, but we can't, well, a hero need more money, I think, than necessary Twilight, but anyway, we'll come to that. But in terms of, have we got sufficient resources to actually take this guy on, and if not, what do we do about that? Do we need more people, or more assistance, or who do we need to speak to find out, to get more backing and more information? Not necessarily this jovial chat, but do we need to speak to someone else to find out the additional information we need, and potentially request backing, whether that's back in Jebiratana with the high priestess person we made contact with, just somebody, just a thought.
Or perhaps the locals in Ras Garrett. That's where we went to. Perhaps they'll be better. They've perhaps got more,
maybe,
soldier information there, but certainly more information about the local area.
And I think we grill him for any other, like those questions I put in the chat, just any other questions that they have about that side of things would be good.
So those questions you put in the chat, I think. So I think that's Twilight. I think we get information about Purvash Papillus, about Ras Garrett, about the Devil Dust, and what more support. I think that's our course of action.
Yeah.
For the hero party, I think that whatever the result of Eros's resurrection, so we have to decide on a big city. We'd have to ask Chris about a suggestion. If our characters have got a reasonable geography, know of somewhere that's away from here but big enough to have resources. But once that's resolved, whether we meet a new character a new character of Alex's, or Karios is in a state to continue with us, I think the pointers indicate that Hero should be heading to the city of the dead, Tarak Nev, because the guy we're trying to, the person that the Tikos faction, the New Enlightenment Union, are trying to bring back a dead Lord of Arcana, and there were 2 weapons used to defeat him, and we've got one. That's the little dagger on Karios' belt. Well, I think, actually, who's holding it now? Leif or someone is winding it. But we've got one of these lost weapons, which is of huge power in defeating this person they wanted to resurrect, is their sort of secret weapon. The other one is the sword, and that's the last known location of that was Tarak Nev. So
and allied with that, there our arch enemy and her rather unpleasant superior are also headed for Tarak Nev to try and find more of those strange glass
the information
tablets or whatever they were looking at, to try and piece together the last remaining pieces of the rite. So dual mission, I suppose: find the sword, but also try and stop them putting together the final pieces of the rite, if possible. But the trouble is with that, I guess we need to find out how to get in there, whether these guys have any better ideas, because it's not a very pleasant journey, and we would need an expedition, and I don't know that we can afford one. So it's, again, who's the local contact who will assist us, and will they help us get in and out across what could be very difficult terrain? Because I don't know that we can do it by ourselves.
Can we teleport then?
Well, I think that we can get within. In the notes we had from Ningwen, who's you may have read the notes. Yep. Her palace was on fire and being attacked. She told us that there was a navigator column. I think, from memory, 3 or 4 days. Is that correct, Chris? From
correct. Yeah, 5 days, 5 or so days away. And that document that I mentioned off camera will spell that out a bit more. But yes, there is a navigator.
And but it's not very pleasant, and I think we've still got to cross this sea of fire or something. But she did sort of make a very passing reference to there may be another way in. I guess that would be of immediate interest. We could ask this chap, or ask him to ask somebody who does know, put us in touch with someone who might be more familiar. I did note from the map that there is another kingdom that gets only a slight reference next door to the one with Landania in it, across the swamp. Maybe that offers another way in. I guess it would be really good to find that out and see if there is a person.
How likely is it a library in a major city would have that sort of information?
I think it's beyond a library. I think it's probably we've done that. We've actually tried to research this stuff in libraries. I think it's more their intelligence network. If they're following people in and out of Tarak Nev, then potentially they might know of another route.
But as you say, Chris, perhaps the document from Ningwen will answer a lot of those questions, hopefully. So we wouldn't need to ask him, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. Does that not about another way in? I don't think I did. Unless there was something in there, was there?
No. There's still a document to come.
Oh, I see. Got you. Right, got you.
Yeah. How does that sound, Hero Party? Should we go to the City of the Dead?
Nice.
Yeah. With Karios.
Sounds appealing.
Oh, Anthony's here.
We need a big city with one of those travel pillars. And Peeps who can give us some information, and a gambling hall, because we need a lot of money. Or a bank we can rob.
I think
yeah.
Or an organisation.
I'm up for robbing a bank.
Yeah, or some contact with this organisation with bottomless reserves of cash. They can give us.
That would be ideal.
Yeah. With whom we share a name.
We need to go to a big city, though. The closest big city there is, right?
I think we want to go to a far big city.
The further we go away, the more Karios degrades, right?
If we go by Navigator column, then it's fairly instantaneously. And the point is that in this region, we are known and we are wanted. Perhaps the idea is to go as far away as possible.
Go to the Arctic.
Yeah, true.
Always good for preservation. Yeah. Right, so we just need to get to one of these navigator columns ASAP.
So did we hear from Alex and Mason about the Dead City proposition?
Considering Karios is dead, she's okay with the City of the Dead. She's happy.
Oh, that's a bit dark.
To find her people.
Oh man.
And we find light in the dark. Yeah.
In Mason?
Yeah, Demos is happy to do whatever. I'll just tag along.
And just because, thank you. And sorry, Anthony, you're there. Did you hear the suggestion for the Twilight party about our destination? And what do you think of that?
Not really. There was too many things going on, so I couldn't really keep up with where we were going, left, right, up, down, or there. My only thought was we went to jovial for a reason in the first place. Are we not going back there? Because what's happened here was just like sort of a side thing, really.
No. The reason for going to jovial was to do exactly what we've done. We wanted to make a contact with the Mon Men because they've got resources and money and networks. And so us going to Jewel Island has achieved that for us.
Right. Okay.
So the purpose of jovial was to talk to Jasir, who connected us to the Mon Men, who are the people, you know who they are, the ones who wanted us to kill some poor old guy, and they tasked us with this mission. And as we've completed it, we've now got what we wanted. We've got access to transportation and to contacts, which is what we sort of needed. So, yeah. The suggestion that we were thinking about for our next step was to gather more information about Corvash Papillus, who's our nemesis, basically, and then to follow him to where we believe he has gone, which is Russ Garrett, which is where he's looking for more information on his weapon Devil Dust, which is sort of a Lords of Arcana ruins. Does that sound... Do you think we should follow that plan?
So is Jez, whatever, is that a person or a place?
Oh, who? Torvash Papillus is the man.
Yeah, didn't you say Jez someone?
We're going to... Ras Garrett. Yeah, that's a place. Well, sorry, it's an ancient Arcana alchemy tower or something or other near there. So Ras Garrett is a city. I don't know which country it's in, though.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah. Sounds good. I mean, Askel's knocked out. I assume he's still knocked out, but
No, but I think it's important. Personally, I think it's important to get consensus amongst all the players. Personally.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Cool. Thank you.
So I guess if everyone's at ease with those, then I guess we follow it up with some questions as much as we can get out of the hosts at the moment, and whether he may give us, or if he cannot answer the questions, put us on to someone who potentially could.
Yep.
As well as everything else we got to do.
And are you happy for Severin to do that question, though, to follow that up? Because you've got a clearer idea.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know how you want to do that. I mean, do you want to play it out, or do we just give you some questions and you narrate back?
Oh, we'll play it out. Definitely play it out. Okay, so are we happy to move on, guys?
Yeah, I think with some healing and all the rest of it, and then
yep,
some snoring and
some weapons.
There were. Should we just get that out of the way while we're all chatting generally? I think should we do a quick list of what we'd actually quite like to be picked up from the cave if it's available?
Absolutely. Yep.
Fire away then.
Leif would like a composite bow and arrows.
I think the only thing Tarquin's missing is arrows, so we'd like his quiver filled up. He's got his daggers and his short sword and his bow.
Tanya would like her arrows all topped up, best available, and Severin and Nathanel both like new helmets, even though Nathanel's unconscious. I'm sure she would.
Her friends will look out for her.
Yeah. And because she talks about it every 20 minutes. Lovely magic short sword. Thanks.
Okay.
I don't know what Gray has. Has Gray got his hand axe?
Yes.
And light crossbow?
Yes.
Or if there's one going? Yes, he has one?
He has one, yes.
Oh, okay.
But you fill up on bolts.
Oh. And I'd fill up on bolts, please.
Okay.
I'll have any poisons if there's any there. Oh, I can't say, I'm asleep. Never mind.
With us. Yep.
You're snoring. Can't you hear that?
Will Demos need a new spear? I assume it was still left on the beach.
Yeah, are these weapons being like picked up from, or are these? Can we get new stuff?
Because I dropped your spear on the beach to carry Eskel.
We've mentioned the spear to the Smiley guy, and he's going to arrange for it to be collected for Demos. I think so. I think that's already, we've sort of noted that to him, and I think, hopefully he'll be good to his word. And I reckon that Demos' spear is at a +10 or something anyway, so I don't know if you're going to be able to find a better one in the...
It's a magic spear. But can if we're getting extra stuff, can Demos also ask for a short sword and a dagger? Please?
Is someone taking a list, by the way? Someone compiling a list?
Are we making? Is this like a wish list?
Yeah, if someone could take responsibility for jotting down whatever's already just been said. No one doing that?
Oh, damn. If we want to read them out and I'll write them down?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, so Demos wants... Okay, fire away.
Oh, Demos, a short sword and a dagger, please.
Short sword, dagger. Okay, next person.
Leif would like a composite bow.
Composite bow. Yeah.
And arrows, and as well made as possible. A +15, please.
Okay, that's Leif.
Yeah, Tenya and Severin like arrow top-ups. Again, the best arrows known to man. Or elf, dwarf.
Those god-killing ones, right?
Yes, those ones. That would be lovely. Thanks. And then 2 helmets, one Severin size, one Neathnal size, hot helms, and Neathnal would like a really powerful magic short sword. Thanks.
Magic short sword.
I mean,
Okay.
Gray would like some bolts, and if they're oh, sorry, Graham.
No, carry on.
Gray wants
Just some bolts, and if they're special bolts, that would be okay too.
Yep. Goes with that thing. Yep.
And obviously, we're interested in any intel that they may discover as part of ransacking the place, and generally, whatever else they might find. And if if there's any herbs or poisons or anything that they don't need, we'll take them off their hands. Or cash.
Tarquin and Eskel.
And by the way, were we offered payment for this mission? I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh. Wasn't it help yourself to weapons or something? Oh, I can open that up.
Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, I'll read.
There was no payments.
Ah.
Yeah. All right, I couldn't remember.
Okay.
I guess replenishing if they find any more food, rations and stuff, we may as well bleed them for everything they've got.
What about Tarquin and Eskel? Any requests?
Eskel's
I
knocked out.
put in my requests, I think. Yeah, weapons, food. Intel's probably the most important thing.
What weapons did you want, sorry?
Just need arrows.
Oh, right. Arrows. Is that everyone? Eskel, you can ask. You can ask even though you're sleeping.
I don't know what to ask for then. No, Eskel doesn't need anything. He doesn't have any missile
armor?
weapons. No, he's got armor in his backpack.
Okay. Cool.
So Askel's armor would be up on the cliff top as well,
Oh yeah.
because that would be very heavy to be carrying around. I don't know if you'd actually fit it in. Anyway, we'll say it's in your backpack.
Oh, so I wasn't there for that session. Do we leave our backpack? All of us leave our backpacks up top.
Those that are encumbered, and certainly if you're tropping around with armor in your backpack, you're definitely encumbered. No doubt about it.
Just a general note on encumbrance. There's in the sheet, the sheets, the online things where we fill our XP in. All the details are in there. So if you make any adjustments, you can make them there, and then you'll know whether you're encumbered or not.
Right.
If Leif would make sure that Askel's armor was included in the list of things to retrieve, please.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
You've now got a shopping list, I think. you've had a discussion, and both parties have a sense of where they're wanting to go. Up on screen, by the way, is a rough indication of where you are. Sadly, there is no chess with a lot of shiny things in it on the table, so ignore that. But that's pretty much where you are. You've had this discussion up at this table with your smiling friend before. He's left you. Jada is, you can hear her in the background having a good kip on the bed. The rest of you have been trying to keep quiet, and you've had a conversation. It's probably taken, all told, about 15-20 minutes initially talking, and of course you would have discussed this elsewhere as well. And at about 20 minutes or so of discussion, this woman enters the room. She comes in and she speaks Thebronic, and asking in Thebronic, she says she bows as she comes in, and says in Thebronic, and there are enough of you that speak Thebronic, my master has indicated there are injured people here. I'm here at your assistance. I am a journeyman. I've only recently advanced in my speciality from being an apprentice. So I'm sorry to say my abilities are somewhat limited, but I'll help if I can.
Nicholas would make himself known to her.
So she comes over and she makes that kind of tutting noise, looking at his absolutely horrifically scarred legs. My, you have been in the wars. What? And she nearly asks a question and then kind of checks herself. Just 1 minute, and she has a bit of a dig around. I think we concluded there were 3 main muscles in the legs. Is that right?
I think we did, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jada had started the process of curing one of those.
Correct. Needed... Where is it? That's muscle repair, isn't it? It was muscle 3. It required 1 day.
Yep. Yes. Well, she says, my goodness, you look in pain. She's feeling your head. I mean, and Nicholas is sitting there, teeth gritted. I mean, he's at negative 85. That in this game's terms is, he's seriously incapacitated. She puts her hands on your brow, Nicholas, closes her eyes, and you definitely start to feel a lot better. And every 10 seconds or so, you are definitely feeling a lot more improved. At the end, Nicholas, of how much were you down?
A lot.
Yeah.
38 hits out of...
Yeah. End of 30 rounds, which is end of 5 minutes, your health, your hit points, call it what you will, is now back up to full. And she says, I'll tend to the muscle damage in your legs in a minute. I'll attempt to. Are there others that need assistance?
Nicholas would point out Askell and Neathanol, particularly.
Okay. So she comes up and bends down, and you see her kind of checking Askell's pulse and opening up his eyes and peering inside his eyes. And she does the same process with Neathanol. She turns to the group and says, "Firstly, my goodness, that Arab woman snores quite loudly, doesn't she? Does she always do this?" Oh, sorry, I forget myself. She turns back to both Askell and the ethanol. I can't see anything immediately wrong with either of them. Both, certainly, the elf has suffered some kind of quite serious impact to her head. I don't have anything to hand that I can think that will assist her. My suggestion is, how long has she been unconscious for?
Be half an hour. About an hour by now.
Yeah, an hour and a bit. My suggestion is we just I can't. There's nothing I can do for her immediately. I can't see anything physically wrong with her other than the fact that she is unconscious. My suggestion is we just leave her, and I would say the same with your companion as well. He does have a badly broken arm, does he not, Askell? Or am I misremembering that?
Oh no, yeah, that's shattered. It's really, really bad.
That's right.
Shattered his left or right, left arm, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he got hit by the acid.
Yes. He had a pretty bad time. His arm is beyond me. I don't have the skills. I'm not experienced enough to mend his arm. It's a very, very, very bad break. I can feel, she says, and she's looking at all of you as she says this, I can feel under the skin bits of bone have separated. It's a very, very serious break. And unfortunately, I just don't have the skill to attempt to mend it. I can attempt to bring him back to consciousness, perhaps. He's certainly, he, like your other companion, is certainly generally unwell. And she lays her hands on Askell. Let's see. And again, Askell, not that you know this because you're completely out to it, your hit points are increased to full. You're back on full hits. You're at negative 100 because of the shattered arm that you've got. But you're still unconscious. She says, look, you know, I've done my best for this man. I can't heal his shattered arm. I've done my best to give him recuperation. I can probably supply 2 to 3 more people recuperation, healing. Healing, I guess, would be the best term. I can supply either 2 or 3 more people with healing.
I guess Tarquin would pipe up that he's got a wee scratch. Wouldn't mind that heal.
Yep.
Mithan would sort of butt in and say, you need to heal the muscles on that man's leg, pointing to Nicholas. I can heal most of my companions, and she would say, I've got a skill in plus 33 in herb lore, and she would ask if this healer is familiar with birththelas, which is men's one shattered bone, 12 hours herb brew. So she would say, I have this herb, she's got 2 doses, but she'll offer 1 dose to this healer for Askell's arm, and sort of in whatever terms describe that she's got a herb lore ability of plus 33. So wanting her to make the call if it's better for Mithan to try and apply it, or if she has got, and I imagine she's got a better herb lore skill, but that's what Mithan's.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, she's a little bit taken aback when Mithan butts in and says, "I can heal too." She says, "Well, I'm sorry, but I didn't know that." I was about to say I have the option of either healing 3 more people or casting muscle repair twice on this man. In terms of Bertholas, yes, of course I know it. It's one of the most common herbs available. And yes, I do know something about crafting, preparing, and applying herbs. Thank you.
I'm sorry, this will have to be via translation because Mithan doesn't speak Hebronic. She speaks South Tongue to 5, if that's helpful. But Mithan just wouldn't react in the slightest. She's just like, just get the job done, please. She would say her opinion is priority is Nicholas's legs to be healed, please, and that she will take care of the healing that needs to happen with other party members, and if she would mind, if this healer has got a better skill than for her to brew and administer the Birthlas.
Okay. So, just as a quick GM aside, a rule note. Upcoming, there will be, when you suffer a major injury like Nicholas has at -85, there is likely to be longer term implications. We're not playing it, as I've said a couple of times, we're not playing these new rules on the session in Jewel Island, and I'll share the rules with you previously, but just for future reference, this is quite a major injury. But the muscle definitely wasn't. We did establish that the muscle wasn't destroyed, so I think it was exactly the same spell as Jadar cast, which is muscle repair. Correct?
That would work, I believe.
Okay. So after having this kind of confrontation with Mithan, via a translator, does the translator try to soothe any frazzled nerves, by the way, or just tell it as it is? Whoever's translating?
If it's Leif, of course he would.
Okay. So maybe not. He does speak Hebronic?
Leif speaks... yes, Leif speaks Hebronic. I'll just check.
Tarquin definitely does, if Leif doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, well, if Tarquin wants to translate, that's great. Yeah.
Does Tarquin translate?
Yeah, he'd be happy to, yes, and he'd use as much of his charm as he possibly could to charm us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you just try that? Because that was quite a frosty exchange between Mithan, well, not surprisingly, between Mithan and this person.
I think turning on as much charm as he could, he'd tell this healer that Mithan's not known for her airs and graces, unlike you obviously are. She's been through a rather rough patch, so perhaps we could take the higher ground.
Be the bigger
and
person.
understand his somewhat rough demeanour, even if it is towards me, and that's just how things are.
Excellent.
But possibly what we need to do is focus on our more damaged foe.
Give me a roll just for fun.
Speaking to myself, 29.
29, and what's his bonus? A charm?
His charm bonus is 85.
Wow. Okay, so you definitely soothe some ruffled feathers there, and she kind of chills out a bit. She casts firstly one spell successfully on Nicholas's legs, and then definitely the second spell is cast on Nicholas's legs. Nicholas, you're not feeling great now. Takes 1 day for each one of those 3 spells, so by this time tomorrow you should be feeling better. and bit by bit the pain will decrease and that penalty will decrease. You are back to full hits. Turning.
Nicholas will be very, very grateful and will thank her. Yeah.
She nods and smiles. Turning to Mithan again, slightly multiplicated by Tarquin's antecedents. She asks for the Berthalas. Can you read out the description, please, Pete, and the difficulty of finding, if you've got it to hand?
Sure thing. She would make sure that this is done. She would go to her pack because she keeps it in that magical box, and she has got some. She'll make sure it's hidden from the healer. Where is it? What was that? Was a bone one? Concussion, bone repair. It just says it's Berthalas, Stalk Brew, 110 GP.
Yep.
AF22 shatter repairs.
Yeah, and what's the difficulty of finding it? It'll be a number. There'll be a series of codes.
T capital S 8.
8. Thank you. Okay. And it was how much in GP? 110.
110. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Okay. So this is a really difficult herb to apply. So the woman concerned goes out, she brews it up. What is it? Is it a brew?
Yes, I believe so. Shatter repairs, stalk/brew.
Yep. Okay. So there's no application. Askell just needs to drink this, but there is a preparation. And because it's a really expensive and a difficult herb to find, even though this haughty healer knows it, it does require a roll to prepare it. She is a highly competent herbalist, got plus 70 to her herb roll, but this is difficult to prepare, so it's negative 30. She needs to get 101 or better. So let's see how she does in actually preparing this herb. Or does she need to get the second one? So exclamation mark R space D 100. She's got plus 70 this roll, but negative 30, so plus 40. Here's the roll. 68. That looks good to me. 68 plus 40. Not quite. Not quite. So she's... she gets... Is there a fire in this room? Let's have a look. No. So she's elsewhere. So you guys actually don't see this. She is
Does she get a bonus for preparing it before or anything like that? I'm scratching for differences.
No. She can either prepare or try with plus 75 potency effect, or wait 6 rounds and try again with plus 20. So she gets near success. You think you've done a decent job, but you aren't quite there. Either prepare and apply the herb now with 75% potency, which would mean that Askell's shattered arm would be 75% fixed, whatever that means. Or wait 6 rounds and try again with plus 20. Mithan, I'm going to give the responsibility for you. What does this healer do?
Oh, should wait.
Should wait? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it again, yeah.
So she'd roll again.
Is this a second dose, or
no?
Is it
No, it's the same dose. Exclamation mark R space D 100. 84. Yes. So 84 plus 20 for the additional waiting and thinking about it, plus 40 is a very successful success. Your skill in applying or preparing these herbs enables you to fully prepare the herb, and it's meant to work well. So thank goodness. She brews it up. So what that's kind of simulating is basically, does she make a mistake with the brewing? Does she brew it too long? Does she brew it too short? Does she basically make an error with it? She ultimately doesn't. She brings it back and forces this brew, which waits until it cools, forces this brew down through Askel's unconscious mouth. Does it give a time that it takes to heal, Pete?
It doesn't. The only description thing is shatter repairs.
Well, I'm going to say it's instantaneous. Askel, or close on instantaneous. Askel, not that you know about it, but amazingly, you have no negative 100.
Probably lucky he's unconscious. Instant bone healing would probably hurt.
Probably not great. Yep. Any other? So she says that she can offer some rook, which is a brew. She has 4 lots of rook, which heal 2 to 20 hits, which she is able to dispense. But that will be it.
What? Sorry, Chris.
It's a brew, so it's a herb, which can heal between. It's a very, very common herb, which can heal 2 to 20.
Well, whose needs it the most?
The addiction factor on this herb, by the way, is... It only comes into play if you have it more than twice in a week. Addiction factor of 1. Very unlikely you're going to get addicted to this stuff.
Who needs it most? I agree.
Chris, in terms of hits, who's
down the most? Yeah.
Severin's on 58 out of 150. Tanya's on 82 out of 96. Gray is on 67 out of 122. Jadar's fine. Nicholas is now fully healed. Askel is now fully healed. Leif is on 116 out of 140. Neathanol is 83 out of 106. Mithan is fine. Etienne is on 117 out of 130. And Tarquin is scratched on 74 out of his normal 79. Demos is and lastly Demos is 99 out of his normal 135.
Would anyone mind if Severin had a glug then?
Definitely. He should.
Why doesn't he just take it all?
Gray's on half, isn't he? Really? Was it 60 something out of 120 something?
Yeah. Severin and Gray, I reckon.
Yeah, apologies, Tim. I'm going to have to shoot through.
Sure thing. It'll largely just be a bit of narration from me at the end, by the way, Giles, at this stage, until the pirate ships attack you. Oh, did I say that out loud? Nice one, Giles. Thank you. We won't be playing much longer, by the way, I don't think.
Merry Easter, guys.
Merry Easter.
And you. Yeah.
You too. Thank
See
you.
you. Bye.
Happy Easter.
Yeah. Tell me what happens.
Oh well, if they can have some glugs, that'd be great.
Okay.
Bottoms up.
Cool. What have we got here? Does this work? No, that doesn't work. Chugging contest does not work.
Do we need to roll or anything, or?
Yeah, give me a roll. 7.
What am I rolling for?
2 to 20.
Six on the first roll.
Plus.
11 on the other.
Cool. 75.
Not that cool.
You're on 75.
Okay, thanks.
And somebody else? Was Gray the next person?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes, please. Can someone just roll for me? I'm just having some problem with my manoeuvring on the different computer. Someone just roll for Gray, please.
Here you go. First roll, 20.
Nice.
Second roll. 12.
67 plus 20 plus 12, 99. You're feeling remarkably better, Gray. Done.
Thank you.
And
that's her healing done, is it?
that's all she is able to assist with, yes.
Etienne would accompany you to the door and roll the seduction roll.
Okay, cool. Strange place to try to seduce someone, but yeah, give me a go. You will get a minus for this, for the circumstances, but give me a roll.
Fail. 3.
A 3! Love it! Love it. Roll down, please.
21.
3 minus 21. What's the skill at seduction?
77.
Minus, she's just up to her eyeballs in blood and trying to heal people. Give me a sense. Is that a group decision here? Is that either a light plus 10? Is that a medium plus 0? Is that a hard negative 10? A very hard negative 20? An extremely hard negative 30? A sheer folly negative 50? Or an absurd negative 70? What do people think?
I think 18's very good looking. I'd say negative hard, I reckon.
Is it really the place to pick up someone? Okay, hard. Any changes on hard?
I think, shoot your shot. You never know.
Yeah, sure, but the circumstance, this is not over some candlelit dinner. This is on a ship, putting people back together who have just been slaughtered in a fight.
But maybe that's appealing for her.
Positive well-being, though, isn't it? I mean,
She's doing what she wants to do, and maybe she likes water. I mean, the water lapping at the.
All right, negative 10.
The ship and
negative 10 it is.
She's just been having Tark.
Okay.
Tark was just charming her too.
Okay. Failure. Your audience will not be receptive to any of your attempts to influence, at least for one day. So.
Try again tomorrow.
Just describe what Etienne does, please, when she goes to the door.
He was just escorted to the door. May I call you Miss Nightingale? Is there a Mr. Nightingale? He just expresses an interest, and what is there to do on this vessel? See you later. What are you doing later tonight? Kind of thing. Nothing too, lurid, but it expresses an interest.
Excellent. So she just she's speaking Thebronic, and Etienne speaks full Thebronic. She just turns and just looks at you and just gives you the most withering look. Really?
Maybe tomorrow. We'll chat tomorrow.
just turns, heads out, and closes the door. Really not impressed. A bit of time later, Jadar wakes, kind of snores a bit, and then goes back to sleep for her last hour, I believe. So that would have been 1 hour sleep, 2 hours, 3 hours. So 4 hours. 4 or 5 hours. I'll need to quickly check that. And at the end of that hour, Jadar, you wake, and you are dramatically, Jadar, feeling better, more awake. And suddenly your skills and just your whole experience as a character, you are just simply better than you were. Most importantly, you have been musing for the last several days, a couple of weeks, and you're no longer snoring, by the way, on a particular spell list. It's called Organ Mastery, I believe. and suddenly you wake up and something, while you've been asleep, has just clicked into place. A piece of the puzzle has clicked into place, and you can now cast the spells up to your level on that list. Jada, what do you do?
Gosh, well, I probably, since I've been asleep, wouldn't know that everyone's been healed, so I'll just check if anyone needs me and tell them I've just finally realised how to do a nerve organ mastery spell and ask what's going on.
Okay.
And why does it roll me on my side?
Mithan would perk up at that and say, does that happen to mean that you know the preserve organ spell that Karios needs cast on her brain?
Preserve organ. Let's have a look at my list. Exciting. Preserve organ. Preserve. Yes. Yes.
That's just what Karios needs, by chance. As soon as possible.
Weird, because I dreamt about that. Yes, I can do it. Allows. And it's only like a level 5. That's an easy one.
Fantastic.
So Jada, what do you do? Please talk me through it.
So I'm going to find Karios. I assume she's somewhere in the room with me.
Yes.
And let's give it a go.
Okay. So this is touching Karios, which you get a bonus for. It's preparation.
Yeah, touching, waving.
All of those. So just to set the scene, just before you roll the dice, this spell can fail on a 1 or a 2. And if that happens, we then find out what happens on the spell failure roll. Jada, do you feel lucky?
I do.
You roll.
So I'll do everything I can to make the spell work, waving my arms around, saying the spell out loud because it's pretty safe here, and holding on
pressure.
to her. Here we go. Oh my goodness! Only an 11. Oh no! At least it's not a fail.
That spell was successful.
It's great music.
So this prevents deterioration of one
read it out,
organ.
please.
Yeah, allows caster to prevent the deterioration of any specific organ, for example, ear, eye, liver, even if it is outside of its body. Well, luckily nothing's outside of your body.
Okay. So, let's do the calculation. 1 hour has definitely gone past. 2 hours has definitely gone past. That was the time to get back on the boat. An hour of sleeping. 4 hours. So, by my count, it's 5 hours since Karios' death. To me, that sounds right and reasonable. Have I missed anything?
So four rolls. Is that sort of?
Total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls in total. So it counts the 5th roll.
Right. Yep.
And being a healer, she's in top condition. She's looked after herself really well. So there's no signs of heart disease or anything.
Anything else that you're doing, Jada, after you cast that spell?
Ooh, I feel like this is a trick question. I don't think so.
Okay.
What if I forgotten something? Am I supposed to hold her organ or something?
I think Jada probably communicated with her plan. Can Mithan sort of prompt her?
Oh, what have I forgotten?
Is that all right, Jada?
Yeah.
Is that all right, GM?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think Jada's plan was that as Karios is dead, we want to. So she's now. The mental stats deterioration has stopped because the organ, the brain, the mental organ has stopped because of that spell. So that's a relief. So her empathy won't get any lower now. So that's fantastic. Yeah. That's not happening with her physical, the rest of her body. So
that's where we choose.
That's where we need. Yeah, no. That's so the brain's taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the body now needs to be taken care of. So that would be there's 2 spells need to be cast on each limb. A preserve. So that's 8 spells. A preserve limb for the bone repair and muscle preserve limb on each limb, and then I think she might need other internal organ preservation as well. I don't know. It's up to Jim. I don't know how much that needs, but that would be. I thought that was the healing plan. It was the recovery plan.
Oh yeah, it's on a different list. It's on the other list.
Yeah. So preserve limb on bone mastery and muscle mastery for each of her 4 limbs. Yeah. And then preserve organ on other organs in the body.
So how does this work when I do them both together? Limb and bone? So I just roll twice?
I think that's how it works. Once off the muscle list and once off the bone list for each organ.
The question is, do you have the PowerPoints? Is probably the main thing.
Fully recovered, aren't I?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I have 52.8.
Okay, so you've just cast. So it's up to you to keep track of your PowerPoints.
Okay, so it started on 52.8 minus 5 for the last spell. Alright, so don't have to worry just yet. Get my calculator out. Okay, so can I roll for, I'll do the muscle one first. This is for level 5?
Yep, so suggest you roll, what was it, Pete? 8? Was it 8 times?
Yeah, 8 times. Need limb preservation from muscle repair and limb preservation from bone for each limb. Yes, so 8 times.
So maybe roll 8 times, and then any failures is really what we're interested in.
Oh, then I've run out of points. Yeah, okay. Oh, 5.
Only fail on a 1 or a 2?
A 9. Oh, you can't believe 3 low ones in a row.
Oh, you can actually roll 8 anyway. Yep. You can actually roll collectively all together. But that's all good.
Oh, no, right.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. All good.
1,
4, 5, 9, 84, 77.
1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more?
Yep. 2 more.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice one. Bravo.
Oh, that's so good.
That's the snoring that's done something to my voice.
Absolutely, absolutely. So those were all, I'm not going to do all 8, but those were successfully cast. In terms of other things that you can preserve, by my count, this is what ChatGPT gave to me before. Oops, I'll see if I can... Ah, damn it. Where's that gone? That. No. There you go. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the heart and lungs, she doesn't have heart and lungs, counting them very generously as 1.
Cool. So we've got five more organs.
Does Jada have the PowerPoints, is the question.
Take away, so I did 8, 9. 9 times 5. Oh shoot! Typed that in the wrong place. 52. I have 1 more, but that's not going to do much. I have to do 2, don't I?
There's liver, kidneys, stomach, pancreas, intestine. So 5 more. Nicholas has a suggestion, so he knows that. So he had a ×2 spell adder, that he gave a mentalism spell ladder that he gave to
GM's just heading to the loo. Back in a sec.
Neathanel. The plan was that he was going to take that back off Neathanel, who's unconscious, teach Jada to use it, so she'll get a plus on her attunement, and that gives her 2 more spells that don't require... She can cast 2 more spells she would normally be able to cast, but doesn't need power points to cast them. Is that okay if she does?
Yes.
Yeah. So this means what we're doing here is, you know how Chris was talking about the physical stats will continue to deteriorate. By casting these preserve organ spells, it's just she's preserved her limbs, but it's still her body and her torso and her internal organs that are still going to make those physical stats continue to deteriorate. So constitution and strength and agility and quickness and whatever the other one is. We won't be able to stop them completely because she doesn't have a spell to preserve the torso, but we can slow it by casting these preserve organ spells. So if she can cast 3 more spells today, 1 with power points and 2 using the spell ladder, we will have slowed it as much as we can. And if she can cast 2 more preserve organ spells on the other 2 organs, then that's all we can do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To slow her body's deterioration. That's all the spells. But I mean, it's not the end of the world if she doesn't cast it on all 5 organs today, because the body's going to continue to deteriorate, and it's just about preserving. So which out of those 5 organs, liver, kidneys, stomach, pancreas, and intestines, would contribute most to deterioration? Perhaps pancreas isn't as important. Perhaps.
Intestines, no.
Okay, so
Liver, kidneys.
well, if she does it on liver, kidneys, stomach, and pancreas, and what do we say? Liver,
Definitely
kidneys.
kidneys.
Yeah, so she definitely does liver, kidneys, and stomach, and leaves pancreas and intestines to rot a little bit more until she's got power points back the following day. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Cool. So, Nicholas would have to help teach her how to use this spell adder, because he used to use it, and so if she just borrows it off Neathanel, then Nicholas can help, and that just gives her two spells without her needing to have the power points to cast them.
Wonderful.
Should we go with that? And that will require Jada to make an attunement roll on the spell.
Oh gosh. Well, surely I've got all my low ones out of the way. So I'll do that now.
Yeah. Is that all right, Chris?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
So in terms of attuning, what flavour of... This is a mentalist, because Jada is mentalist, so it needs to be...
And Nicholas got it from the party at the beginning, and he's mentalist, and Nathanel's mentalist, so I assume it's a mentalism one.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. And it's spell adder, did you say?
Times 2 spell adder. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So attunements, how fast is Jada doing this? -20 for less than 1 hour. Assuming Nicholas got plus 75 to teach, you could be able to use plus 75 to help teach Jada how to use this.
Nicholas will teach.
Okay. -30 if the realm is different from the caster. -10 if the caster doesn't know what their spell or ability is. You do. You get plus 20 if you know what the ability is. And can you cast the spell intrinsically? That's irrelevant. Yeah, give me a roll for attunement. Please, Jada.
62 for attunement.
What's the roll?
62 for attunement.
Oh, 62. I missed that. 62. Now, that is masked. Of course.
Oh!
Of course it's masked. Of course it's masked. Because you don't know what it is. So, yep. Plus 75 because you've got a teacher. What's a bonus for attunement, please?
It is plus 62.
62, okay.
Wow.
So, 62 plus 75 minus 30 because you're trying to attune in a short period of time. How about that?
Oh, nice.
So, the second time, Jada, are you? So, firstly, and Jada, nice work with some accompaniment from. Oh, accept. To teach someone takes 1d8 hours. So I take back that triumphant roll. How long does this take you to teach Jada how to do this? Roll a 1d8, please, Pete.
Oh, go Pete.
2.
2. It takes 2 hours. So at the end of 2 hours, I'm going to take the roll as so that's another 2 hours of. So in that additional 2 hours time, so Jada has woken up. She's cast the healing spells we've just run through. She then has to concentrate for 2 hours to have this item taught to her. The item has been taught to her. We've just had the success. So Jada, yes, you have now figured out how to use this item. What do you do?
So, now from memory from last time, I can choose to prepare or not. Do you guys think I should prepare or not? Just go for it.
I think you should. Oh, no, I think we're not under time pressure. I think, yeah, you should.
Okay, so I'll prepare.
Yeah.
Can't really afford to stuff this one up.
And we agreed it was, of those 5 remaining ones, it wasn't pancreas and wasn't intestines. They can wait for tomorrow,
Yeah,
correct?
the kidney and stomach. So I'll prepare for that.
Okay. How long does this organ preservation last for, by the way?
Yeah. I didn't say. Let me just see. Double check. Doesn't say. Maybe it's in a bigger book.
If you... Sorry, it's a button. If you check up in the box that describes...
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. 1 day per level. Yeah.
So these will need to be cast constantly, or each day, basically.
Oh, wow. Yikes. Okay.
Okay, so which are you casting? How many more are you casting with now being able to use the Satyr?
Right now?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a bit lost. Did I...
Oh, we'd agreed, we'd discussed that you've got to cast 3 more spells, right?
Oh, those ones. Okay.
Yeah.
So 3 more rolls.
Yep.
First one, 29. Then 17. Then 44.
Hooray!
Ah!
All of those were successful, and we might even have... So all of those spells, fantastically, miraculously, and do please, Jada, make sure you keep track of that XP, because that will definitely be worth something. All of those spells were successful, happy to say. So you have, you've cast the preservation on her brain, you've cast the 2 spells each required for her 4 limbs, and then you've cast the organ mastery on 3 of the 5 remaining organs that you need to cast on. So I'll do some calculations off game to see what deterioration that will be for Karios' decrease in stats, her physical stats. Her brain is now protected, and thanks to Giles's really useful insight to be able to use that herb to allow Jada a lot faster sleep, Karios' mental deterioration has been dramatically slowed from what it was. It was pretty dire before. It's now looking miles better. So thanks, Giles. I know you've left the game, but yeah, that made a lot. In terms of Karios' physical deterioration, I'll continue that off camera, and we'll see how that goes. But right now, as of, I think, what did we say? 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, with the remaining at 7 hours, everything that you can fully preserve, looking after Karios. In other words, her organs as much as you can and her limbs as much as you can is preserved from 7 hours on. Now, obviously, that clicks over then 24 hours time. Over the course of both...
sorry, it's 1 day per level.
Yes, 24 hours. So in 24 hours time, these spells will need to be cast again, is my point.
8 days time.
Sorry?
It's 1 day per level.
Oh,
so
1
8
day
days
per level. 1 day per level. 8 days. Correct. Well done.
Believe.
Sorry, I missed... Yep. Is it? Double check, please.
Yeah, 1 day per level.
Limb preservation, 1 day / level. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I had missed that. But that's huge. That's massive. Like more than a week that Karios is now safely preserved.
So she'll be able to do the organ preservation on the other 2 organs tomorrow, correct?
Correct.
And increase that the stat decrease by a little bit more.
A little bit more. Yes.
The organ one's also 1 day per level, which is, thank goodness.
So while this has been happening, by the way, are people okay to play on a little bit more to round off this session? Going once, going twice.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, also, you know how I've got that meditation sleep thing where I can sleep faster?
Yep.
Should I just go back to sleep, or do I have to wait? Get more powers back?
Yeah, I think as we chatted about, that was something. Oh no, I can't remember how that works, and that was something that she did while she was going up on a level. So yeah, remind me how that works, please.
Well, it's something I roll for. It's a general skill, but it just helps me sleep faster. And I'm just trying to look up like how much faster.
Okay.
But I'll get back to you when I find it.
Cool. Thank you. So 2 hours has elapsed. There was also some time while the healer came in and attended to various people. And then there was 2 hours that it took for Jadar to be attuned to the spell adder. It's now quite late, so if you remember, the combat at the front of the cave took place at around kind of dusk. It's now probably 8, 9, perhaps 10 p.m. in the evening. And later, probably halfway through the time that it's taken to attune the spell adder, this gentleman comes back into the room. How are we all feeling? He says. Better, I hope. Oh,
I always watch to see if Severin's going to come off and do the talking. But yeah, Leif would greet him and yeah, say we're grateful for the healing and that our healer's back awake and we're feeling much better. Thank you.
Good. Oh, very good. Oh, that's good to hear. Just to report, there's the assault on the cave has gone well. It happened quite quickly. We sent in, I don't know, 60, 70 men-at-arms along with several spell users, and the cave has been flushed out. Interesting to note, by the way, the Marcus O'Malion, Malus O'Malion, there's no sign of him. He may not have been there in the first place. And also, you referred to some kind of magic user, the spider person, a scarred face or something. There's certainly no one matching that description. We're slowly tallying up the slain inside, and we have 18 of the enemy that have been killed. We've been able to recover the packs that you requested, and he deposits Jadar's, Askel's with his armor, and Karios' pack on the ground, And also, Demos, much to your delight, your much beloved magical spear here he deposits in the room. The spear is a tad bloodstained. We were able to recover these. I hope that is to your liking. During this time, you communicate with them the shopping list. Jada, do you have that to hand? Could you just rattle off what you're after, please? What the team's after?
Yes. Short sword, dagger for Demos. Composite bow, arrows, very well made, Leif. Arrows, best quality for Tanya. 2 helmets the right size for Severin. A magic short sword for Neathanel. Special bolts for Grey. Arrows for Tarquin, and any weapons and food.
Okay.
And herbs, hash, food, whatever else is there.
Sure. So it takes a bit of time, and it doesn't happen instantaneously this very second. But after he gets your list, he's able to go out and recover ultimately something that fits all of those descriptions. All of them are standard items, so there are no bonuses, no magical quality in any. But all of those items that you've requested, there were plenty of supplies. Some of the items he recovers for you are bloodstained. A short sword has a scabbard that's a bit burnt, whoever was after the short swords. But all of the items, including the helmets, there are certainly enough helmets inside to fit both Severin and Tanya, were found. So all of the standard gear, no bonuses, were found. Quivers and bolts have been refilled, and you have that equipment you're after.
Oh, I forgot poisons for Jada. Is that okay as well?
He does, yes. He says, so going through the weapons crates, they were able to uncover a massive, and the gentleman tells you this quite happily, the weapons crates, no doubt, there was a reason they were so heavy. They were full of short swords, long swords, broadswords. There were shields inside. There were a good number of light crossbows, a good number of latchet crossbows. These were latchet crossbows, by the way. Just, of which, if you want any, you can certainly take them. Just to show you what they are.
Would that is that a similar weapon for Grey? If he's got a heavier.
Yes, it would be half skill.
Right. So it's a specific skill required for one of these things.
It's a different type of bow. So it is a. What's this? You've come across them before. They're a. They're a bow that can be spanned, so you can see that. You pull that lever back, it pulls the string back, and a bolt is put inside it. They can be fired one-handed, so they could be used with a shield. They're easy to conceal. They're small. They're only about on screen. Can't see me on screen, so they're not that big. But they're unfortunately, the camera doesn't allow me to do that. You know, they're kind of that big. If you can see that on screen, can't quite. But they're not huge, so they're easy to conceal. They're small. They can definitely be fired one-handed. They're low power, so they're relatively ineffectual against armor, heavy armor. And they're very, quite understandably, as you'd imagine, they have very, very poor range. But the fact that they're able to be concealed in a way that you'd struggle a lot more with a larger weapon, and the fact that they can be fired one hand, there are certainly advantages to them. So if you recall, Etienne, you may recall on the island in Ningwen's palace, you didn't see that the woman concerned had one of these kind of hidden and was able to pull it out one-handed and fire it at you one-handed. So a weapon of surprise, a weapon of close combat, it could definitely work. but you're not going to pick anybody off long range, and they're not hugely powered.
It could be good for a healer because generally they don't have anything long range and it's nice and light and easy.
Yeah.
But could I carry a quarterstaff in one of those, or is it too much?
Yeah, I think you also have a sling as well. Or she's trained with a sling.
It's also. Oh yes, true.
It's all about what you're trained in, Jada. So you have to think about whether you want to train in something like that, or whether you're better keeping on with your sling if you want a ranged weapon.
Alright, yeah.
So you might be better at it, you know.
Get better at my sling. Okay.
I don't know what it.
There are certainly plenty of those. There are plenty of. Let's have a look. Go. Weapons, bows. It's just coming. There are a good number of short bows, a few composite bows. There are a few heavy crossbows. So very, very, very powerful bows that do massive amounts of damage that you need. Oops. Let's see if that's. Here we go. That you need like a winch mechanism to use, and they take a long time to load, but once they're fired, my goodness, they hurt. Or much more lighter crossbows, so this would be something that Grey would use, or something similar, something to that. There's plenty of those. There are a good number of daggers and short swords. I won't put the images of those up on screen because you know what a dagger and a short sword look like. And yes, there are a number of poisons, and the gentleman up on screen is happy to provide you with poisons. Not a massive amount of any of them, but he can provide you with some if you'd like some, and I can do that off camera if of interest. There are also caltrops, a good number of caltrops, and there are also several of these as well, a good number of these as well. These here, they've got purple powder in them, and when they explode, they knock people out, put people to sleep.
Definitely be interested in those. Okay. What skill would you use for that?
That would just be a throw. So a throw.
Oh, well, as many as we can carry.
Okay. Yep.
Yes to poisons for Nicholas and I assume Jada.
Yeah.
And the ethanol.
Yep.
Said someone unconscious.
Okay.
May could speak for her. You know, she wants poisons.
Okay. So I off camera, off screen, I'll supply you with a number of these devices. There weren't plenty of them, but there were some. Some poisons. Is anybody taking any of the weapons mentioned? The shields, the swords, or the bows in any kinds? Going once, going twice.
Not if they're not magic.
God, getting fussy, huh?
What are caltrops like to transport? I mean, are they things you sort of have on you, or are they sort of a bit bulky?
Yeah, well, caltrops. Do we have a picture of them?
Yeah, we've got some already.
Yeah,
who has?
Yeah, just didn't get around to using them.
You'd be able to. I mean, let's have a look. If I type in the words caltrop, I find an image. You know, they're something like that. You'd find something, a cork or something that you could stick on either ends. They wouldn't be massively hard to transport. Cumbersome, perhaps, but not horrendous. There are certainly plenty of caltrops that you can take. And then the very last thing that your friend just coming. That this gentleman provides you with is you'd already picked up Etienne. You'd already picked up his scimitar, which looks
Flaming
like.
sword.
Sorry.
Flaming sword guy.
Yes, correct. You'd picked up. Where is it? I just saw it a minute ago. You'd seen this weapon here.
Yeah.
You'd picked up that. The only other item that that you were given off his possessions was this here. No, beg my pardon. Wrong one. That one there.
All right. Well, we'll give that and attune it next time, I guess.
Okay. Those were the only items found on him. So it's now late, very late in the day, late at night, I should say, and your healing's been done. You've had some discussions. Your host turns to you and has provided you with the various items. They'll now be going on for about 11:30, 12 o'clock. He comes back into the cabin and he presents you with any poisons that you're after, a certain number of those balls that I showed you. Anything else, guys?
Any intel? Also, and one for maybe next time, but I did wonder whether there were any identities that we might, of the TTP people who are there, names, who they are. We've got a couple of names there, but, you know, any names we might use further down the track, or, I don't know, just a thought.
Did the Black Baron get killed? He was supposed to be in there somewhere.
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, no. Damn.
He says, so it'll take probably another hour or so before we're planning to set sail. We're leaving one of the ships here to collect up the remaining cargo. Where do we sail for?
The closest navigator stone, please.
Closest navigator stone. Well, he says you have several choices. Oops. Would have several choices if the GM can make the map work. Physically, the closest navigator stone that we're aware of lies here. A very short matter of probably 20-30 minutes away, maybe a little bit longer, perhaps an hour. That lies in the lands of the Nanai Zandu, the desert dwarves, an inherently suspicious and difficult group of people to deal with. Already we've spotted several of their patrol vessels hugging the shoreline, watching as our ships have been sailing in and around Jewel Isle for the last few days. That is the closest, without a doubt. That would not be my recommendation, but that is absolutely the closest. Further here, there is a tiny fishing village. I can't even remember the name of it. And there is, in its decaying port, there is a navigator stone, and I believe there is another navigator stone. For those, by the way, that don't know what they look like, are that navigator's column. Plain black column, twice the height of a person, just on the ground. You put your hand on it, and you just simply say in any language, "I require a navigator," and one appears. No one knows exactly where these stones came from. but they are something that have been in the world for forever and a day. So there is one in a tiny fishing port here. The location of which just means it's just frankly too never been able to build any infrastructure around it. There is another in the free city of Landania here. By the way, no one owns this land. It's just, I think they're just fisher folk down there. There is another, probably the next most common after that, is the free city of Severat. Those are definitely the most, the closest, without a doubt.
I reckon the fishing village, right? Because we don't want to be seen, really.
Agreed. Yeah.
The only thing is we could do with having everybody conscious before we travel. That may happen, that may not happen, but anyway.
All right.
I mean, failing that, we could go to Landana and get... I mean, how large is that city?
Yep, sure.
Thing is,
Do they have level 2? They have level 2 cleric spell there?
Landania is a city of about 35,000 people. Severat is a town of about 31,000.
we visited these on Twilight. Visited these on the way through. Which one? Several of them were not at all Rodenick, and some were, right?
Nope. So Twilight hasn't visited. Hero has. I think you went to the free city of to Corgi, the kingdom of Vetlimit. These people are Catholic, so these people passionately hate the Roldenics. Passionately hate the Roldenics.
Sounds like those sort of people.
Exactly.
You haven't... Did you go... I can't remember if you've been to Landania and Severat or not. I don't...
Oh yeah, sorry, on the way up, yeah. I can't remember which ones we stopped in at, but I remember some were more risky than others. I guess, yeah. We could probably just make our mind up, could we, for next time?
A bit of a hint for the GM would be handy.
Oh, okay.
What's the travel time to Coggy?
To Corgi would be...
Are we in a hurry then, or are we better just to sail a bit further so that people can wake up and then...
Yeah.
About 3 days to Corgi, 1 day to Landania, day and a half to Severat. To the little fishing village, less than a day.
And there's a navigator stone at Landania.
Yes.
Yeah. And the idea is that with the contact through Jackin, is that we should really give him 10 days notice before wanting to use a navigator stone sort of thing. Each contact would allow our travel, would organise our travel to the next place sort of thing.
Correct. So at least 7 days in a location before you move on.
Yeah. How long do we have services of this boat?
Say again, sorry?
Oh, how long can we be on this boat for, please?
Your smiling friend says, well, I've been given leave to transport you wherever you wish in the Katana Sea, within reason, a month.
Fantastic.
We may as well just stay on the boat then, right?
But I think let's go to... And how big is Coggy in terms of... We're looking for a city... I mean, this cleric spell, anywhere with a church, we'll have priests and clerics, and assume can cast this life preservation spell, is my guess. Is that a fair guess? Do we know? Does...
Corgi is a large city. It's 45,000 people.
Cool. I reckon we go there with Jadar casting the preservation spells as we.
Do note that the preservation spells that you have, will definitely dramatically decrease the rate that Karios' body rots, but it does not stop it.
Yep.
And you are in hot conditions, and it will rot. And particularly once her strength in particular gets down to 0, and it's currently on not great. Once it gets down to 0, she is very unlikely to be brought back.
Let's go to Landania in one day. Look for a priest to cast the full body preservation on her. And then back onto the ship and go to Corgi where it's anti-Roldenic and wait for everyone else to wake up. That's what I reckon.
And also, we've got a lot of questions to ask anyway about where we're going and who are contacts and all that. So.
I think, yeah, I reckon that's a plan. And even if we ask Tarquin to go ashore to source a priest sort of thing, because he's not known, we're sort of stay on the boat as much as possible. Tarquin goes and arranges the priest. Bring him to the boat to cast a spell, and cool.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
So, guys, I've got to shoot, but I'll thanks for the game, and I'll see you guys later.
Thank you.
And that's where we'll leave it for today. The last thing I'd say is, for the GM's sanity, you do sleep, and on board the vessel, and you wake, and it's finally the next day, because this day has taken about 4 months to play in reality, and it's now finally the next day because the GM just had to get that done. And you're on your way to Landania. There we go, guys. That's the session.
Thank you.
A quiet one for some players tonight, but highly interesting. Excellent.
Yay, Jada! And your preservation spells.
Yay!
Thank goodness they worked.
Well done.
Shall we do a...
Oh, that's so good.
Fantastic. And Giles's herbs, brilliant.
Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Throw that out of left field. And Mason, lovely to have you back.
Yeah.
Good, nice to be back. Nice to,
Not exactly an action-packed session for you, I'm sorry, but...
Oh, so fun. I feel like it was good to just catch up on kind of everything that I've missed.
Okay. There we go, guys.
Vader to Etienne for a fantastic seduction attempt.
Nice one. Nice one. And who got some?
It was Grey.
It was Grey for rowing.
It was. Do we have any nomination for the Twilight Buddy?
Jada.
Yes.
I think it would. I think it would have to be. Wouldn't it?
What a day.
There we go. There we go, guys. I think it's next week.
Thanks,
but
everyone.
let me just double check. There we go, guys. We'll leave it at that.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Thanks.
Everyone. Thank you.